Hello everyone, my name is UYENLAI and today I will present the interim research of my bachelor's thesis titled Climate Resilient Rice Varieties in the Mekong Delta, Adaptation and Quality Improvement Towards Sustainable Rice Production and Export. This presentation summarizes the methods I use to collect and analyze data, as well as the findings I have so far. I will also highlight areas where I welcome feedback from my opponents and my supervisor. About the research context and problem. So the overall context, Vietnam is consistently among the world's leading rice exporters, and the Mekong Delta plays the most important role, producing more than 50% of national rice and over 90% of rice exports. However, the region is facing increasing climate risks, especially salinity intrusion, irregular flooding, and drought. At the same time, export markets are shifting away from bulk rice toward high quality, sustainable, and traceable products. These pressures and policy shifts necessitate a change in the traditional model of rice production to remain competitive. About research objective and question, the primary objective of my research is to investigate how climate resilient rice varieties and sustainable cultivation practices collectively contribute to Vietnam's transition towards the environmentally responsibility and export competitive rice production. My core research question is how do climate resilient Vietnamese rice varieties contribute to sustainable cultivation and the strengthening of Vietnam's rice export sector? To support this, I also examine supporting questions. First is the adaptive and quality trait of key varieties like Sub-1 Dog Phụng, ST, and OM-Lies. The second is how sustainable practices such as AWD, MDSR, and rice stream improve resource efficiency. And the last is how policy frameworks enable or limit to adoption of these innovations. For the outcome and supportive outcome, to analyze their elements systematically, I employed an analytical framework with one primary outcome and four supporting outcomes. The core outcomes is sustainable rice productions for export. This means a system can that maintains stable yield under climate stress, reduce methane emission and water demand, and meet rising international quality standards. Besides, to support the main outcome, I access four supportive objectives. First is varietal innovation and adaptation. Second is sustainable farming practices. Third is the climate smart agriculture principles. And the last one is a policy market alignment. These four dimensions help explain how Vietnam can transition to a rice sector that is really resilient resilient, low emission, and globally competitive. About the methodology overview, this study employed a mixed method approach, combining text-based research with informal field insights gathered during my visits to the Mekong Delta in this October. The analysis examines three main dimensions: uh, varietal performance, sustainable practices, and policy-market interaction. I also applied the four-pillar framework as shown in the figure 3.1, which connect innovation practices, CSA farming and policy. Dividing productions and export trends. My first set of findings looked at national productions and export trends. This demonstrates a clear transition from book production towards quality-driven and sustainable export model. In the figure 4.1, the average export price and the share of the premium price. Finding second is varietal performance. In the Mekong Delta, several key varieties have shown strong performance under climate stress, including AS996-1, Dogful, CWR derived lice, ST24, ST25, and OM series. These varieties support both climate adaptation and export quality upgrading. For the table 4.2, adaptive and market performance of key climate resilient rice varieties summarize the principal lies shaping the Mekong Delta's adaptation strategy. The finding three sustainable practices. The second component of findings relates to sustainable cultivation practices. Their practices amplify the benefits of resilience varieties, turning adaptation into measurable environmental and economic gain. So in the figure 4.4, comparative performance of conventional and climate-smart dry system in the Mekong Delta. They illustrate the difference in emission intensity between management regime. And the finding for a policy practice gap. Although Vietnam has strong national strategy supporting sustainable rice, including the goal of 1 million hectares under low-emission rice, implementation still face challenges. This indicates that strong genetics are present, but adoption at the practice level remains limited. Regional insight. To better understand Vietnam's position, I briefly compare regional experiences. A regional comparison offers valuable lessons from Thailand, Philippines, and Indonesia. Vietnam can accelerate adoption by combining these three elements: branding, research extension, and incentive programs. With a few insights in October this year, due to the limited time I spent in the Mekong Delta and the long distances between provinces, I was only able to speak directly to farmers and cooperatives in Anjang province. Even though the sample is small, the purpose of this visit was to understand the real experiences behind the data, how farmers cope with the salinities and floods, which varieties they choose, and what barriers they face when trying to implement new practices. Their few insights have ground analysis in reality. During my site visits, the farmer and cooperatives in Anjang share several important insights. Their insights validate the policy practice gap previously described. Integrate discussion. Based on our findings, three integrated conclusions emerged. First, varietal innovation provides the foundation for climate resilience and export quality. Second, sustainable practices as AWD and MDSR translate this resilience into lower emission and higher net income. Third, national policy plays a crucial role in determining whether their innovations can scale, particularly through integration management, extension system, and certification support. Overall, Vietnam's transition towards sustainable export competitive price depends on combination of genetics innovation, improved management practices, and institutional policy support. For next step and question for opponent, I complete my thesis. I will finalize with policy linkage analysis, develop more details for conclusion and recommendation, and verify all data and supporting tables. I also have three specific questions for my opponents. First, is the connection between varieties, practices, and policies clear enough? Second, should I add more quantitative visual or keep it balanced with qualitative interpretation? Third, which part of the research needs more clarity or deeper explanation? So if you have any other opinion or suggestions, please do not hesitate to share them with me. I would truly appreciate. Thanks for your feedback and good luck to hear from you. Thank you very much for your listening.